Well, I guess it's my opinion that Georgia may be the most southern state, as in southern culture, and I'm thinking about maybe making that my home base with Tennessee being my other home base. I already got land up in Tennessee, almost 10 acres, and it's unrestricted. I could do anything I want there. There's a stream, um, the stream on the border of the property, not smack through the middle. There's a paved road. It's easy to get to, but no property owners association, no homeowners association, of course. Looking for that type of land up in Georgia, maybe just 2 acres or so, a couple acres, whatever, but unrestricted. I want to be able to do what the hell I want to do. I was thinking about going up to Blue Ridge, which is kind of a mountainous area. Well, it is a mountainous area, Georgia, but there's a couple of things I was kind of weighing in on this. Thinking about the hell with Florida altogether. Florida is a southern state, and it's not a southern state. It's southern geographically, of course, but South Florida is not a southern state. I'm not in South Florida. I'm north central. Actually, the county I'm in is actually a Confederate stronghold. But even so, it's got so many people coming in from north, retirees and all this garbage, and it's changed drastically in the 20-something years I've been down here. Way different. I'm kind of like, if it didn't change more, I wouldn't care. But I'm thinking 10 years from now, it's probably going to be way more. So it's already at the border where I'm like, this is getting a little ridiculous down here. So it was way country. It was way more rural. And I wouldn't say it was way country. It was. Well, I'd say I had like about 8 miles of fields right behind me. So when I first got down here in a dirt road, so it was a lot different. But looking at North Georgia, and also North Georgia because it wouldn't be that far away from my Tennessee property, because North Georgia's on the border of Tennessee, of course, and it would take me I don't know, maybe 80 hour and 20 minutes to get up to my property or something from North Georgia. Under 2 hours, it wouldn't be that bad. And might even have my cousin live up there too. Keeps taking that. I'm trying to get him on the Carbon C60. He's a former Vietnam vet. He used to be an M60 machine gunner in Vietnam. His son was in the Marine Corps as a scout sniper, doing political assassinations in Iraq. And he right now he actually lives up on 8 acres in North Yankee territory, but 8 acres in you wouldn't really call it Yankee the way you would think. He's kind of he's a mountain man all the way. I could say that right now. But one thing I kind of picked up with Florida is, I don't know, it's become a big money racket. It's the home of the scallywags and carpetbaggers to the max. I mean, I guess you got that all over the South. I mean, I know Mississippi's corrupt. I know Alabama's corrupt. Georgia's corrupt. Florida's corrupt. New Jersey is super corrupt. Massachusetts super corrupt. Everywhere is corrupt. It's getting worse and worse everywhere you go. But one thing I picked up, one thing I knew about right now about Tennessee, they're way more lenient on moonshining. And like in Florida, it's like, forget it. Florida used to be up to the 1950s a big moonshining state. And I don't know why they got rid of it. It's kind of stupid that they did that because, I don't know, they try to regulate stuff to make money, and the government regulates itself out of business. As a matter of fact, they're probably doing that. I think they're doing that right now. I think the only thing that really holds up Florida is the retirees. And it's got two big things about it. Sunshine and warm weather in the wintertime. And for me, I think the only thing that really keeps me here in Florida is I work at a CPA firm too, besides doing the YouTube stuff and some other things. I like working at the CPA firm I'm at. I think that's the main thing that keeps me down here. Honestly, I'm being bluntly honest about that. I mean, I can say to hell with the freaking sunshine and the warm winter garbage. Actually, the CPA firm and the intellectual challenges I have at the CPA firm, and it's like if you get up in the boonies, you're not gonna. you're not going to have that. It's because it's not even around where I live. I got to go drive quite a distance to get down here. It's in the downtown area, um, and I'm familiar with a lot of what's going on in the businesses in the downtown area, not the county I'm in. I kind of avoid the county I'm in actually. It's kind of like hillbilly county a little bit, but I like the Confederate side of things, but to tell you the truth, I'm very astute on the business side of things. And one thing, there's one thing about me where I can really defend the Confederate cause a lot better in some ways. Well, I guess sometimes I don't have that handicap sometimes when people come out and they defend the Confederate cause and they have a Southern accent, because I know the people up north, as soon as they hear a Southern accent, they turn their minds off, right? I don't have a Southern accent. I'm still have an accent from New Jersey, even though when I go up north, they think I talk Southern, because I talk. There's a couple little things I say once in a while that have a slight southernness to them that you might not pick up, but they pick up real quick on up there. But I understand the money angle of things, and I understand that the North didn't fight the South over, what they tell you it is. It's a big BS excuse they gave. It was all over money, man. Money, taxes, and all this other garbage. Now, this is a Wikipedia map of what they consider the southern states. They don't even have North Carolina and Virginia in there, which is crazy. I mean, North Carolina not being a southern state is absolutely asinine. That's the way Wikipedia views things. But they have Florida is a mixed bag. North Central Florida is like a southern state. South Florida is not. Texas is a southern state. Missouri is. Oklahoma is actually. Arkansas is. Kentucky is. But if you look at the real super hardcore southern states, it's South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Probably, there's other southern states than what they're labeling here. But Florida being that, it's the home of the snowbirds coming in from Yankee Dome, that's where I came from. But I didn't come down here because to be Mr. I'm playing like Mr. Jet Set, hitting a white ball around like playing golf, and just playing a little game. Now, I do like the business angle of things. I do get into that. I mean, I've done a lot of work accounting-wise, information systems-wise, and just shrewdness-wise, and with some of those biggest heavy hitters down here in Florida. And actually, when I was up in New Jersey, before I went in the Marine Corps, when I was working as a staff accountant for the people that were the main competitors to Trump. I don't even want to say too much more about that because it really gets involved in all kinds of stuff with the Italian families and construction. These people weren't Italian, they were Jewish. But, I think I could actually knock the ball back up north really bad. And I think I have been. I know YouTube hates me for freaking putting out pro-Southern videos. Oh, they do. But I can tell you, I came down here to get away from the communist North. It's not the weather. I mean, I can handle the freaking snow and the cold and all that garbage. I cut wood and stuff and get the old wood-burning stove going and all that garbage myself. It's still a problem, man. And I can get used to the cold and all that garbage, too. Again, it's the communism. That's what I hate about New Jersey. God, I can't stand it. But and I know George is getting screwed up more and more. This was the old flag that they used to have. Now I know they got a flag that's pretty good. It's more like the first Confederate flag with the 3 stripes. But I always liked the one that General Beauregard designed with the cross. Scottish cross, whatever. And of course, we got the stone mountain carving. Up in Georgia. Now, I know, no matter where you go, it ain't perfect, no matter what it is. But there's other things that I was also thinking about. It's like when we go to a financial collapse here in the United States, I was looking at the U.S. debt clock. It's over 20 trillion, going on to 21 trillion. It's going to be, by the time Trump leaves office, even if he left office in 2020, say he didn't win the election because they pulled the plug on the stock markets and all that crap. They're at an all-time. You know what? I don't think Trump's going to make it the next time because you know what's going to go on? They're going to pull the plug on him. And I think that's going to be the end of the United States. We're going to go full tilt into Great Depression and World War III and all this garbage. I don't want to be down in Florida. I mean, even though the area in Florida I'm in is pretty good for survival, it was much, much, much better 20 something years ago when there wasn't 8 million retirees coming down this way, literally, um, that are a bunch of freaking idiots that would call up, you know, I don't know, whatever, for help. You know, none of them are doing anything on their own. Me, I got dual generators, diesel fuel, food storage, all kinds of stuff, man. I mean, I could do stuff on my own, and these other people that come down here that are retired, they're a bunch of freaking yo-yos that just play golf and go to restaurants and stuff. I don't want to be around those kind of people. If you know the shit hits the fan, and that's another reason I don't want to be around this damn place. It's not. It's a lot different than it was, because this wasn't the retired. You know, the retirees weren't coming to North Central Florida before. It was mainly South Florida, and I thought I was going to avoid them, but they followed me down here, man. It sucks. But you know, I figured out with North Georgia, there's a lot of people coming down there. There's a lot of people going there too with the Blue Ridge Mountains, but I don't think as many. Nowhere near as many. I'm looking for more. I'm looking for, the biggest problem is I'm looking for unrestricted land that doesn't have a property owners association, and definitely not a homeowners association like I got up in Tennessee. I'm keeping that land up in Tennessee, definitely. It doesn't really cost nothing for taxes hardly at all, and it's going to be both spots. So, you know, but and this is actually with the real Confederate states here, and actually they left a few of them out, like the Indian Territory, Missouri, and Kentucky. But you know, Florida is also the only state that was a Confederate state that doesn't even offer a Confederate heritage license plate, which I would definitely get. But then I started figuring, you know, if the government's that much of a bunch of idiots, why the hell would I pay extra money to the government for my license plates to help those jerks? You know what I mean? I don't want to help them. But in Georgia, I would get that if I was, you know, I really liked the license plates they had there with the Confederate flag kind of like ghosted in the background. They kind of got rid of that, but Tennessee has them, Georgia has them, even Maryland has them, for crying out loud. Virginia has them, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas. I think Arkansas, maybe Texas, Louisiana, Florida don't. I don't know what the hell's the matter with them down here, man. They got every stupid license plate there is, but that's kind of telling you. Well, I'm going to tell you, there's another reason that I wouldn't want to be in Florida, right here. This is like an Edgar Cayce map of the future United States. I don't know when it's going to happen. Could happen 50 years from now, for crying out loud. But I can tell you one thing: if you ever go into some real garbage, the Russians already got planted all across the seaboard. Tsunami bombs. Now, I'm high enough. I'm over 100 feet up in Florida, and like far inland. You know, I'm not near the ocean. I never go to the beach or nothing. You know, I can care less about stupid beach. But and you know, I don't think I get wiped out like that. But I can tell you one thing: if Florida got whacked really hard, South Florida would get clobbered, and there'd be like a gazillion refugees coming flying up in my area. And I'm like, I wouldn't want to be dealing with that. I'd rather be up in North Georgia or Northeast Tennessee and away from the garbage. Because one thing I kind of figured, if they ever get into some kind of garbage, you know what you could do? I think there's an island out way across the Atlantic where they say it's just ready to have like a big landslide if they have a big volcano. And if that landslide goes into the ocean, there'd be like a 100-foot tidal wave come flying at the east coast of the United States. Now, obviously, that wouldn't go that far inland, but it would wipe out Miami, New York City, like southern Manhattan and all that garbage. Probably get parts of Washington, D.C., and Baltimore, and Philadelphia, and all that garbage. And it wouldn't do all this, but, you know, you don't want to be anywhere near the overflow from these cities would be making a mass exodus. Because what I'm looking at is, you know, I see the scenario is I think Trump's going to attack North Korea. And then what's going to happen then is the Chinese might go for Taiwan. And you know what that's going to lead to? World War III and blah, 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 and all this garbage. All coinciding with, you know, the debt bomb and the collapse of the markets. You know, everybody thinks it's bullcrap and they've been hearing the doom and gloom forever. But you know what? It's going to happen. Not that I think it's going to happen immediately. It might be a 10-year scenario. But I think I got some years to get out of this joint. But I'm planning accordingly, and I don't know if this is going to happen. All the California getting wiped out and all this garbage, but I think part of this can happen, and I don't want to be around the coast, to tell you the truth. But one thing, that could be the end of freaking New York City, though. I can tell you that right now, because the big financial powers, the ones that are freaking putting a thumb down on the freaking Confederates in the ways of the South, they're going to be done with. Now, to tell you the truth, I should mention this. One thing that aggravates the hell out of me is when I see a Confederate display of a Confederate flag and somebody's putting up a Nazi flag. That is the exact opposite. You yo-yos don't get it. Confederates is decentralized. It means government stays the hell out of your hair. Less rules. It's the citizen, farmer, soldier. It's, your agriculture. You're tilling the land. You're hands-on. You're not freaking submitting yourself to an authority. And that's one thing I kind of get a little mad about this. Even though I voted for Trump and I can't stand Hillary Clinton, I know she's corrupt, about this Trump phenomenon. Like, everybody's getting behind Trump. We got Trump and Trump's this. And I'm like, come on, man. You got to stand on your own 2 feet for you freaking idiots. That's not what the freaking America is about. Just getting behind a leader, and the leader elects something, and you elect this leader, and a big central government fixes the economy and all this crap. That's called that's fascism, man. You don't need that garbage. I don't understand why people get behind that. I'm pro-Confederate, I'm pro-Israel, I'm pro-Jewish. Man, I actually like Jews. Man, I like Jewish. I can't really identify with the Confederate flag, and it's called it the Christian way. I think it's about independence. Actually, the biggest minority or cultural group that was in the Confederacy were Jews. They weren't fighting for Christianity; they're fighting for their economic independence. That's what it was. And I guess that's what kind of makes me a little unique in the world of people that are pro-Confederate, because I'm actually born and raised near New York City. Although I do have genuine South Carolina Confederate and American Revolutionary heritage from my grandfather, because my lineage goes all the way back to South Carolina to 1600s. But I'm half Italian too. I mean, for crying out loud. So, I got a couple things in there. But the thing is, I understand the devious methods in the North, and I think I can fight them pretty good in a lot of ways. But I don't think I want to hang around Florida. Florida's getting to be, well, you know what the real thing is? I think to myself, if there's ever a problem in this country, South Florida is definitely not a good place to be for survivability. North Central Florida, maybe. But then if you got all the people from South Florida come flying up, to North Florida, this North Florida is not going to be good either. So I'm thinking about, Blue Ridge Mountains of Georgia, and also my property up there in northeast Tennessee is the basis, and skipping Florida. But one thing that kind of burns me up about Florida is that the way they treat the legality of moonshine. When this was the biggest, Florida was, I think, the biggest moonshine state going, because of all the ways you can get in by boat. The big coastline, and the place you can hide out in the swamp and stuff like that. Back in the 1950s, Florida was, even the 50s, way after Prohibition, Florida was producing moonshine left and right. I think way more than Tennessee was, for crying out loud. And the government had to go after that, specifically the state government. I don't know. There's a bunch of idiots coming down. There's a lot of people that come down to Florida that there's a bigger attraction to Florida from people from the outside than there is to go to Georgia or Tennessee or Alabama or even South Carolina. There's a bigger attraction for people from the outside to go to Florida. And it's kind of diluting what's good about this state, and that's why I'm thinking about getting the hell out of here. Permanently, to hell with it. But not 110% about sure. I'm thinking about splitting the bet between North Georgia and Northeast Tennessee. I'm going to keep that property up in Tennessee, and I'm going to be looking at for some unrestricted land up there in North Georgia, in the mountains. And I think North Georgia is actually probably the best bet because it's got a high enough altitude and all that garbage like that. It's out there far enough, and it's still in the deep south, and but it's also woodland and all that kind of garbage. So you know, that's where I'm going to probably split my bets between Tennessee and North Georgia. I was looking at South Carolina in the mountains too, North Carolina in the mountains too, but I don't know. Something about Georgia I like. Something about it, and I've been thinking about it a while. But it's actually easier to go from North Georgia up to where I am in Northeast Tennessee than it would be to go from South Carolina up to that part of Northeast Tennessee because you have to go through the backbone of the Appalachian Mountains with all them hills and shit. And I was like, it makes it a lot tougher. I mean, you're in a car and you're doing stuff, but I mean, if you're talking about winter travel and stuff, it's a lot easier just to go straight up one highway on interstate on 75 or something like that, and just go straight up to Northeast Tennessee where it's not extremely mountainous on a roadway. That was another factor I was looking at too, and the number of roadways I can get up from one to two different properties. So I'm looking at North Georgia as possibly the permanent base, or it might be Northeast Tennessee as the permanent base. But I'm definitely kind of really thinking about getting the hell out of freaking Florida. But the one thing that only really what keeps me here is a CPA firm. I really can give a damn about the sunshine, the warm winters, and all this other garbage. I can care less. The CPA firm I work with I like working there. I like doing some of the complicated stuff. I'm used to what's going on down in the area in, the more downtown area with the people that are more heavy hitters and stuff like that. I'm familiar with the ropes down in that area. And I'm going to be away from that kind of intellectual challenge if I go up to the Blue Ridge Mountains in Georgia. That's just how it is. I mean, it's not going to be up there. You're not going to have that type of business. So, I mean, I have different aspects about me that I have to fulfill. And that's the only thing that really keeps me down here in Florida, to tell you the truth. Oh, I can give a rat's ass about this place at all, period. Not in the least, man. Not in the least. I mean, to me, the only pluses I could see is sunshine and warm winter. That's it. But the CPA firm itself, and I could find something like that up in New Jersey too. I mean, I could be up in North, as far as the intellectual pursuit, but it's too damn communistic up there, and that's one part of that New Jersey I can't stand. That's really why the hell I got out of that dump, man. I can't stand that place for that reason. It's not the cold, not that. People come down here from New Jersey usually because they want to get away from the cold. It ain't the cold. It's like blatant communism. And these jerks coming down here from New Jersey and New York, they're bringing their damn communism down here. So, but then again, who the hell knows? One of these days they might be underwater, you know what I mean? It's like freaking left coast of California, right? I don't know if it's going to do all this crap, man, but someday that might be the truth. And actually, if you're looking at what's going on with the magnetic polar shift and all this garbage, this kind of junk happens every so many thousands of years, and we're like 500 years late on the major ice age, and we usually when they have these big major flips in geographic climate, it's accompanied by major geographic changes where we have earthquakes and all this other garbage. And I look at what Edgar Casey predicted years ago. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. It could happen 50 years from now, 100 years from now, whatever, maybe nowhere near as bad as this, but Florida is nothing but a damn sandbar, and I wouldn't want to be on this sandbar when that happens, I can tell you that right now. So I'd rather be up there in the mountains of like either North Georgia or Northeast Tennessee, and probably going to be splitting my bet between the two places. So, but, you know, I can tell you, all the states are screwed up. They're all getting drastically overbearing with dumb draconian laws. I mean, I heard stuff even in Georgia. They call it the occupied state of Georgia. You know, I mean, it's like you got all these left-wing asshole liberal communist jerks in there freaking screwing it up too. I mean, it's going on everywhere. It's going on in Florida. It's going on in everywhere. Even all the southern states. They're trying to purge all the southern states of what the United States was formed about. You know, look what's going on in California. California's going to have a 51st state, New California, pretty soon probably. Get rid of all the left coast freaking counties from Sacramento down to Los Angeles, and they can just wither on the vine and die off, for crying out loud. You know, YouTubes don't love this video, but they'd be in that state too. They'd be in there too. Anyway, but you know, I tell you the truth, I'm not a conservative either. I just think there shouldn't be too many dumb rules, man. I don't even know what half these rules are for, man. We didn't have all these dumb rules in our country when this country was formed. We didn't have these cool rules back in the 1800s and even early 1900s, or even the 1950s or 60s, for crying out loud. I mean, most of these rules that we got today came about in the last 15, 20 years. It's ridiculous. You know? I mean, God, I remember I came out of the Marine Corps. I was like, what's this homeowners association crap? They didn't even have that when I got in. And you know, I came out later. It was like, what's that junk? Oh, we gotta have gated community. We got rules. And oh, you're giving up your freedoms, man. I don't live where there's a homeowners association. That's cool, you know. I fly my Confederate flags. Nobody's gonna bitch at me and go to hell. Anyway, but that's my spiel. I'm thinking about, you know, I've been talking about Tennessee, and I did get my property up in Tennessee, almost 10 acres. And, but you know, I'm thinking about splitting my bet. I was thinking about staying down here in Florida and Tennessee, but then I'm thinking it's probably best to go North Georgia and Northeast Tennessee. They wouldn't be too far away from each other, and also be away from they would both be the deep South, away from all the commie liberal yo-yos and stuff. And actually, both those states are fairly pro-moonshine. I think the state laws are pretty lenient on that stuff. I don't think they have many state laws other than just the stupid federal laws, which are unconstitutional, you know. So, I personally like to make some moonshine and put it in my El Camino and see if it runs on this stuff, you know, with some HHO. You know, the water from gas from water, the hydrogen from water, and see how it runs, man. Go old school all the way. Now, I'm not going to go so old school that I'd be driving a horse, but who the hell knows? Maybe that'll come up in the future, too. Who knows? Anyway, but I got an iron horse. It's called a Harley. Anyway, over and out.